Little Nightmares, the 3D puzzle adventure game in the history of ever, has returned, and thus, so have I. Greetings! Been a while. Recently, out of nowhere, Bandai Namco decided to just drop an absolute bombshell at Gamescom and release the new trailer for Little Nightmares 3. I am overjoyed. Can you tell? Can you tell from the sound of my voice? No, seriously though. I could not be more excited for the return of this series. I only hope this one can match the creativity of previous Twisted Beings the series is known for. Provide us with a solid, semi-coherent story, and more of that sweet, sweet sound design the series excels at. If they can do that bare minimum, I'll be happy. 2024 can't get here fast enough. Wait, hold on, it's already September? Actually, slow down a little, please. As usual, I have almost no structure for this video, so let's just take a look at what we know, what we can gather from the trailer, and all of the real cool stuff it teases. Little Nightmares has always been the type of game that excels at visual storytelling, but also doesn't give you a lot of information. For that, we'll have to look at the website. Here, we learn that this game will take place in the Nowhere, a small but diverse cluster of locations that the two main characters, Low and Alone, will have to navigate. Also, for the first time ever, this game will have online co-op. That's pretty cool, even if I don't have anyone to play it with. We also learn here that the first location showed in the trailer is known as Necropolis. I wouldn't read into that, I'm sure it's nothing ominous. It does, however, seem to boast a sprawling desert civilization, or the remnants of one, a giant monster that turns people to stone, and murders of crows. No, not those ones. The next location we see appears to be a carnival of sorts, reminiscent of the Pale City and filled with beings that bring to mind guests from the Maw. Finally, we get a glimpse at a factory, no doubt a primary destination, and by far the coolest and one I'm looking forward to navigating the most. We can also glean quite a bit from the new characters. Alone, the girl with the pigtails, wields a pretty hefty looking wrench, so obviously she's a huge BioShock fan, and the more melee focused of the two, immediately making her my favorite. We see that she's pretty kitted out in comparison to the other children of the series, with a pretty standout green jumpsuit and some Mad Maxian goggles. We get the impression that she's used to harsh environments, and is ready to deal with any obstacles in her way, and she'll do it with drip. Alternatively, we have Lo, the boy with the raven mask. He too is armed, apparently, with a bow, and is, of course, a Last of Us fan, so he specializes in long-range encounters. Really neat though, since this is the first instance of a projectile weapon being used in this series. However, he also seems woefully unprepared to deal with the harsh conditions given his attire, and even a tad clumsy. He does, of course, possess the ability to portal through mirrors. Clearly, this is similar to Mono's ability, but mirrors in this game hold powerful meaning, arguably because they reflect the twisted nature of the beings who look upon them. Clearly, this will tie into the story somehow. Moving on, you may have missed what are arguably the most important details in this trailer. That being, hands will be in fact returning. You can't have a Little Nightmares game without at least one creepy hand-based character trying to kill you. We got those here. And finally, hand-holding. To not include the most underrated mechanic from the previous title would be the single most brutal betrayal of the series, which is saying something. So I am very glad to see that returning as well. What else? Oh, we see some major locations during the daytime, which is rare for the series, so I guess that's kind of cool. But hand-holding, similar to what we see at the end of the first game. A stark change in the usual color palette, instead opting for faded yellows and browns, in contrast to the pale blues of Little Nightmares 2's. Sorry. This brings me to the tiny yellow elephant in the room. The bright sunflower of the series. No, a raincoat. You're getting warmer. The one in the unique art style. Okay, I walked into that one. Alright, pretty sure we've reached the end of this bit, and there we go. As both the first protagonist and potential antagonist of the series, 6 is no doubt the poster child for children being corrupted by this nightmare world. Each journey shines new light on her character, and while I applaud Supermassive here for not immediately dangling her in front of us fans to lure us in, I have no doubt that she will return. Her tale, incomplete, and her ultimate goal remains a mystery. Will 6 be an enemy this time around? Or just a misunderstood ally with a dark shadow? We can only speculate. And even after the game launches, the answers may still elude us. But that's all part of the fun. There are very few games that scratch both the aesthetic and incredibly subtle world-building itch that Little Nightmares does. Each initial playthrough is chock full of minute little details that can drive someone insane trying to tie it all together. And every little bit of info, just like 6, leaves you hungry for more. So if you're still starving for extra info, might I suggest The Sounds of Nightmares, the latest podcast thing they're doing to hype up the game, and truthfully, it's working. There's a lot of little juicy info bits in there that may not directly tie into the series, but it gives you some stuff to chew on. If that interests you, maybe check it out. From what we've seen so far, I am definitely over the moon that we are getting more from this series, and curious to see which new direction they take the story. And even if this entry completely fails to surpass the absolute masterpiece that was Little Nightmares 2, I still can't wait to continue this puzzle, and I look forward to playing it in 2024. Until then, thank you for watching. See you next time.